All right, we'll go ahead and get started. I am recording today's session. It's so awesome to have a nice group of you guys here today. It's really exciting. I do want to mention that we have, I'm going to call her a special guest. Some of you may know Jing Humphreys. She is our Pathways Guide coordinator. So the Pathways Guides meet with her pretty regularly, just to touch base on where we are with our visits and how things are going. She is here with us today. She just wanted to check out how these sessions were going and also just get an idea how Zoom works. She's been using a different platform for her sessions. So she's here today. We're happy to have her. I did explain a little bit about how our agenda goes, but Alex, I think this is your first time as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. So typically, we would start by going through submitted questions. Nobody submitted any to me ahead of time, and the purpose for submitting those ahead of time is just to give me a chance to make sure that I have the correct answer for you, or if there's resources in regard to that question so that I can provide those things. We didn't have anything submitted, so I just want to take a minute to see if anyone has any questions before we get started in the educational portion of the meeting.
None for me.
No?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. All right, so Long and Jing, if you have questions, feel free to type them in the chat box. Otherwise, we will move forward. Again, for those who have not been here yet, these meetings are scheduled for an hour. Typically, they don't run that long. It just really depends on what you all need. I have a few updates that I wanted to share with all of you, and feel free to share with your members as well. One new initiative that we're working on through Jing and also Tom, that is the other Pathways Guides coordinator, is a newsletter for the Pathways Guides. So this would be just a newsletter that really kind of says, where are we, how are things going, how are the clubs in the district doing. So we're really excited about that. I think it'll be a good piece, a good initiative to be able to share with club officers to then disperse to club members, just so everybody knows where we're at as far as the Pathways transition goes. So we're hoping to be able to get that out in March, if not, mid-February-ish. Some of the other Pathways Guides have been doing additional virtual support sessions. So for those who get this email invited to my sessions, I hold one session each week at varying times, always via Zoom. And we just kind of, meet, talk about whatever we need to talk about, and finish up. There's a group of folks who are doing additional support sessions, and these are the same sessions but offered 3 times a week. Sunday nights, Monday nights, and Wednesday nights at 7:30. And they're all via phone. So I just wanted to run a quick question by folks. If you want to be included in that email list, please let me know. You can either send me an email, you can say yes or no now, put it in the chat box. You don't have to. This is just in addition to the sessions that I provide and another resource. So if you're not available when I do my session, if you want to jump onto theirs, their sessions are more targeted. I've been keeping my sessions kind of open. Theirs are more focused on specific topics. So if any of you want added to that list, or if you want to make sure that your VPE or president, whomever has an invite to those sessions, please let me know. I'll stop there for a second. Does anybody want added to that or want to think about it?
I'll take some time to think about that.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. And it's not required or anything. It's just another additional resource that's available for you. The other item I wanted to mention, for those of you who did not attend the winter officer training, there are some makeup dates coming up, and I wanted to mention that the training in Duncansville on February 7th, I will be there giving a Pathways update and will be available for a portion of the agenda to answer questions. So I wanted to encourage you, if you didn't go to the previous one and you need to go to that makeup training and you want to attend that February 7th one, I will be there and we'll be happy to answer questions, specifically in regard to Pathways. Also, Jing mentions that all the information for those sessions are on the District 13 events calendar. So I would encourage you to check out that website as well if you have not. As far as club updates, Long shared with me that their club only has the one person working through Pathways. He's in the Pingers Club. I will be visiting their club on the 14th, and this is just kind of a special invite. They asked me to come and talk a little bit more about Pathways, try to get their group more excited about Pathways, and try to kind of encourage people to get started. So I am happy to be doing that for them, and if any of you want me to come back to your club and do another little spiel or whatever, I'm happy to do that as well. Angela or Alex, do either of you have any updates as far as how things are going with your club members working through Pathways?
I don't have any updates, just, well, I do. I guess I can give you an update. So I did my icebreaker, and then I went back in and I did the final assessment of the project. Cool. And then I got 2 emails that I could use to do further things with in relation to that project. I could evaluate the project, and I could also ask my club members if they wanted to give me additional feedback on how I did. So now I waited a little. I think I did that speech a month ago, so I waited. So I should have gone in there sooner if I wanted to get feedback from my club members on my speech project for the icebreaker. So, I mean, that's something that I'm going to talk about at our club meeting on Thursday, and let people know that they shouldn't procrastinate going back in and kind of doing that final step with each project. And I know I keep checking. I just was checking today to see if there were any things for me to do for my members, because members have done some projects, but they haven't done the final assessment for the project. So anyway, so I have to talk about my experience with that with the club members and kind of remind them to be doing that.
I think that's important too. Long and I were emailing earlier this morning about basically just needing to remember to finish those additional steps. And it's a learning thing that we all just have to get used to. And I think once you do it a few times, you'll remember, oh, right, I have to do these things. But I'm glad, Angela, that you did your icebreaker and you have some experience now that you can share with your members. I think that's fantastic. Jing also updated that in her home club, they have 3 members working in Pathways, and she just finished level 1 in motivational strategies. So great job, Jing. That's fantastic. Yes.
In Altoona for Allegheny Mountains, we have 1 or 2 members who have committed to being in Pathways. I'm sitting here right now saying I don't know that they are. I would love, I'm here really, well, I'm here, as Shauna knows, because the last time you held one of these, nobody was there. I was hoping to get a private lesson today. I'm here because I have some questions about me personally as the president of Allegheny Mountains. I want to be where Angela is, but I'll ask that question later as to when is a good time for me to pop in. But you were at our club, September, I don't know when it was, but you did whatever you did back in the fall. And I thought, wow, that was great. I'm ready to go. And I've forgotten everything you've told me. Now I'm happy to hear that you're going to be there next Thursday. I had a conflict, but if you're going to be there, I'm the kind of guy that needs as much help as, because I'll forget it, and I really need to just get in and do it. And I think now's the right time, but I'll wait until I can ask that question, maybe at the end.
Yeah, we can talk at the end, or we can, after everybody leaves the call, Alex, we can talk afterwards, whatever.
Thank you.
And you bring up a really good point, because I personally haven't started Pathways yet. I picked my path, but I'm really trying to finish the traditional program. And I think a lot of people from these meetings and talking to other members of different clubs, people are really sort of, if they've been in the traditional stuff, they're continuing to work there, aside from the new members who have to start in Pathways. So I totally agree with Alex that in the fall when I went and did all of these club presentations, it was a lot of information, at that time, nobody really knew what it meant. Nobody had seen base camp. And so I like the idea of, now that there are some people in each club working through it, coming back if I need to, or scheduling a virtual session to kind of go over that stuff again, just because, probably went in one ear and out the other when I did those presentations. And so, now might be the better time to come back and kind of redo that again, because it might make more sense for people. So yes, I will be there next week, and hopefully there's a good crowd and we can have a great conversation.
I'm sure there will be. And by the way, we're having an open house tonight. I'll just mention that, not a Pathways, but we're expecting probably 10 guests tonight. I mean, if
Awesome.
those folks do what they said they were going to do, I've had a couple of people say, "Oh, I'm going," so we're excited.
Great. I hope that goes well. That sounds awesome.
Well, we'll give you an update next Thursday.
That'd be fantastic. I see that we have Amber just joined. Hi, Amber. Welcome. Amber is part of the outreach club. And I believe, hi, Amber. Have you started in Pathways? Remind me, I forget.
I started and picked my path, but I haven't done any speeches in Pathways yet.
Okay, right. And that's where I believe pretty much everybody in the outreach club, I think most have done the assessment and picked a path, but only one person has done the icebreaker so far. I'm also hoping that now that the holidays are over, our meetings have been a little scarce with members, so I'm hoping that now that the holidays are over, we can kind of revamp a little bit and get people more excited about this. There was one piece of information that Jing and I were talking about, and I wanted to share it with you today. It's a short little video about how to complete a level. And I know many of us aren't at that point yet, but this is important information for the VPEs as far as when people finish a level and then how the process moves along to get approval. So if you just bear with me a second, I wanted to pull up a little training video of that, and I thought we could watch that briefly and then talk about that if you have any questions. And hopefully my audio and everything will be good for this. All right, so I'm going to share my screen with you. And some of you may have seen this. This is on, this is in Basecamp. When you search for the tutorials, this comes up. Can all of you see my screen? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So I'm going to hit continue, and this should just
Once you have completed all projects in a level, submit your level completion request to your Vice President Education. Navigate to your education transcript. Open the curriculum and view details of the level. Notice on the page that each project has a burgundy checkmark, indicating completion. Once you confirm that all required projects have been completed, select the Activate button to the right of the level completion item. In this example, it is Level 1 Completion, Motivational Strategies. Then select the Launch button. A PDF will open containing information about submitting your level completion. Next, select the Mark Complete button. Notice the status has changed to Pending Completion Approval. An email notification will be sent to your Vice President Education, informing him or her of your pending request. Your Vice President Education will then log in and approve or deny your completion request. After your Vice President Education has approved your request, the level progress tracker will change to 100%. Burgundy check marks also appear next to the yellow folder icon and next to Level 1 on the Curriculum Progress Tracker. The system will also award you a learning badge. To learn more about badges, view the Viewing Badges tutorial. If you select the next level in the Curriculum Progress Tracker, you will notice that the projects there are now unlocked and you can continue on your path.
So as you can see, those little tutorials are fantastic because they're very sort of short little clips. They show you how to do things, and I think that's great. Also, that information is important too for the president and secretary, who are also listed as Basecamp managers in Basecamp.
That was a really helpful video.
It was.
And great. And if you go into that search, I thought it was a fantastic idea to share that because I hadn't thought about that yet. And so, yeah, if you go into that search part in Basecamp, there's tons of great resources there to share. And I think also, I know at the club that Angela belongs to, they have what do you call it, a Pathways Minute or something?
Yeah, the Pathways Minute, and I try during the business meeting at the beginning to just sort of talk about something about Pathways in general, like something I've learned or, something to help people who are using Pathways or to get started.
So those are great little snippets that you could show in your Pathways Minute or in your education portion of a meeting just to kind of get people, just to provide information for people. Those were the only things that I wanted to share with you today, and that was just the little educational piece that I wanted to share. So at this time, I would like to open this up. We have a great group here today. So Alex, now you can ask questions if you want. Amber, some of the new people on the call today, please just start shouting out questions or comments or concerns, and we can discuss things.
Well, it's about me, but I'm happy to share. So I just recently got my competent communicator, and for the most part, I have my leadership too. I haven't submitted it because the last piece was the mentoring piece, which I'm mentoring a couple of members. I just haven't formally, we don't have a VPE, but I'd ask maybe Jen Sell or one other member to kind of sign off on that because I've met with members outside of the office. I feel pretty good that I've kind of fulfilled that. Now, I haven't walked them through, the number of speeches that I know I will, but the point is, what I'd like to do is just get the competent leader done and finished. Now, I do have 2 advanced manuals. I have not started working in those yet. So the question really is, since I've kind of got that done, would now be a good time for me just to get both feet into Pathways, forget the 2 paper manuals that I have. I'm happy to do that and be done with it.
Excuse me. My recommendation would be yes. Finish your CC, or you finish your CC, finish
Right.
your CL because you're pretty much there. And then I would recommend starting in Pathways. And I'm recommending that because thinking of all of the other layers you need to, if DTM is your ultimate goal, you're still really early on in that.
Yeah.
And so I think now, once you finish that stuff, I think that would be the best time to kind of jump into Pathways. I think that'd be the most beneficial for your time. And you already have those core skills and competencies from the CCCL. You'll be able to apply right into Pathways.
Okay, I'm committed to doing that.
Awesome.
And the biggest reason for doing it, and everybody will say, yeah, that makes sense, is, when somebody asks me a question about Pathways, I'm like, ooh, I have no clue, because I haven't done the assessment, which, I really had good intentions of doing by now, because I understand from other members today that you can do the assessment without moving forward any further. So my commitment is before this month is over, it's February 1st. It's a short month though. I will ask somebody in the club to sign off on my competent leader and just move forward with, in fact, the next time maybe I see you next week, I'll be there. So thank you.
I think that sounds like a great idea. And I really anticipate we have this transition period still. So I think right now people are kind of dabbling, but I anticipate, over the next year or so, we're going to have more people in Pathways. We're going to be able to have so much more information to share with people. I really appreciate the club officers, especially trying to get on board. I think that's going to be so helpful, especially when we're trying to motivate our other members. So yeah. I think it's great that you're committed to doing that, and I think that's a fantastic idea, and good job on that.
Thank you.
Did you have other questions, Alex?
No.
Okay. Anyone else on the call? Jing or Long, if you have questions or comments, feel free to type those in the chat. Long has a question. How much cumulative time was spent on your first speech project on Pathways? Jing and Angela, do you have an answer to that? Because I've not done mine yet.
It's hard to say. It didn't really feel like any more time than a regular speech project. So I would say about the same. but it provides a lot more resources for you to use to guide you through doing the project.
And Jing mentions that because it was the icebreaker, it was not much time at all. So I imagine the icebreaker is probably, you know, of course, the easiest. And then, you know, maybe it takes a little more time as you move forward, I would anticipate. Does anyone else have any questions or comments? All right, I'm hearing none and seeing none. So if that's the case, thank you guys again for coming today. This was so great to have a group of people here. This is really exciting. Thank you to Jing for being here today. Our next meeting is next Tuesday in the evening at 7 p.m. So if you can come, that would be great. As usual, please encourage your officers and your club members to please come submit any questions that they have to me ahead of time if you can. And I will try my best to get some educational information put together as I always do. And I hope to see you all next Tuesday.
Okay,
Thank you,
thanks.
Shauna.
Thanks,
Thank
Shauna.
you.
It's really helpful.
Thanks. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.